Hi, it's Haley, and it is Thursday, January 9th. Sophie is at the grandparents, so I'm all by myself, and I thought I would film this little bit of talking for my next video knitting podcast. It's going to be all about my stash and my works in progress, and there's not much progress going on because, of course, as soon as I started or decided to start a video podcast, I hurt myself and was knitting too much, and my thumb was really bothering me. I had stopped knitting for a while, and then it felt better, so I got back to it. But then apparently I did too much, and my thumb has again rebelled. So I'm sort of just wearing this to remind myself to not use my thumb. I noticed even when I'm not knitting, if I'm like typing on my phone or scrolling, that it bothers me some. And also, yes, I have done something to the other hand too, so we have no good hands. I burned myself a little bit on the oven when I was getting some hot cookies out of the oven, but they were delicious, and Sophie and I enjoyed them, so I guess it was worth the burn. All right, so I've got quite a bit of yarn hiding throughout the house. I've got some in the closet next to me, and this is the playroom, or as my husband likes to call it, the crap room, because I used to call it the craft room. He thought that was really funny, but it's not entirely inaccurate. So I've got yarn in the closet, and in my bedroom, under the bed, hidden in a dresser. In our closet that we had gotten built-ins recently, there's a bunch of high and on some of the shelves, and I'll include some pictures so you can see everything. But I have put all my stash into Ravelry so I can keep better track of it because my memory is just not quite there. And so a lot of times I will forget how much yarn I have or what yarn weight it is, so it's nice to have it in a place where I don't have to physically see it, but I still know it's there. So I exported all my Ravelry stash information onto my computer into an Excel spreadsheet so I could see how many skeins, how many yards, and then how many grams I have. And it's a lot. And you can have whatever size stash you want. It should bring you joy. I think I just need to actually finally do some of the projects that I've had floating in my head for years and years and years. All right, so according to my spreadsheet, I have 474 skeins. Now, I'm not totally sure how accurate that is because there's a few yarns where they're just really small balls and it's not really indicative of how much yarn there is. So I'm mainly going to be trying to reduce how many yards and how many grams I have of yarn because I think that's probably more, well, an easier to measure amount for me, just for my head. So I have 124,166.8 yards, which, if you're curious, equates to 70.6 miles of yarn. So we'll see. Will I walk 71 miles in the next 3 months when I'm not back at it yet? Maybe. I should get started knitting more once my hand's better. And 54,804 grams. So hopefully I will cut that number. I don't have a set in stone goal. I just really have quite a few projects that I already have the pattern, I already have the yarn, and I just need to knit it. So I'm hoping really to just work on that bit. Also, when I was looking through all of the yarn and taking pictures of how I have it stored in my house, I found all my mini works in progress. So last time I said I only had 2 active works in progress, and I mean, even that's a stretch at this point. They're on hold, they're on pause. I've got 1 yarn bowl hanging out downstairs waiting for Sunday when I start back up knitting, and 1 upstairs. So I'm going to try to keep 1 upstairs project and 1 downstairs project, just because when I'm following Sophie throughout the house, I don't need anything extra to carry. So I have the square neck Tolsta Tank and Henry's raised watch cap. And then I have about 20 works in progress total. The 20 is not totally accurate because one of them is a design idea I had that I haven't actually fully cast on yet and started knitting yet. So I don't know if I would really count that as a work in progress since there's been no progress except for provisional cast on. But regardless, I have about 3 of these projects that are very close to being done. I have the Shroomkin that I was going to make for Joe that I knit all the parts, but I haven't figured out if I like how it fits together. And I haven't added any of the facial features. I'll put a picture in it. It's a really cute pattern. You could just hold your little knickknacks in it. But it was a little fiddly to get started, and I definitely have not finished it yet. I also have a Madeline wall hanging by Needles and Life, and all I have to do for that is attach it to the rod and add the fringe and hang it up. So I should probably do that at some point. And then I also have, it was a seed stitch scarf years ago, I think before Joe and I were engaged, and we've been married 12 years. It'll be 13 years in May. So this is a very old work in progress. I had made my mom and my mother-in-law seed stitch scarves. I'm not even sure the pattern. Probably maybe a Purl Soho pattern. But anyway, it's just a seed stitch all the way through the scarf. And then I had taken the 2 colors, purple and green, and was knitting them together in a seed stitch scarf for myself. And obviously it's much thicker. I don't know what I was thinking. And I don't have that much of the yarn left. So I think I'm going to see if I can make it into a cowl and maybe twist it, put a twist in it, and then seam together. But regardless, it doesn't have that much yarn left. I should probably just figure out how I'm going to finish it or frog it, I guess. But I might try to finish it. And yeah, then I'll probably just show pictures of the rest of these projects. Most of them are not very close to finishing at all. There's a few like the Alice Tea by Elizabeth Margaret Knits that I really want to finish because I feel like it's a great pattern. It's just like a regular t-shirt, and except knit by me eventually. And so I think it would be great to have in my wardrobe, but I just need to buckle down and finish with I'm mostly finished, then join in the round so I can just crank it out whenever I'm back knitting. But anyway, that's it for talking for today. I'll show you some pictures and maybe talk through or just write on the screen, what the project is and what it's supposed to look like whenever I someday finish it. The following is all the yarn and works in progress around my house, and the information is all in the description box below.